The Silent Watcher. My name is Jim and I'm 64 years old. At this age, a man starts believing he understands how the world works. You learn that danger usually announces itself loudly through broken locks, angry voices, or the sound of footsteps in the night. But the worst danger I ever faced didn't knock on my door. It watched quietly from my ceiling. And the day I discovered it, I made a decision that still haunts me. It was a calm Tuesday afternoon when everything began. Sunlight poured through the living room windows, warming the wooden floor that my late wife, Sarah, had insisted on installing years ago. The house still carried traces of her presence, her favorite curtains, the small lavender candle she used to light every evening, and the photo of our family sitting proudly on the bookshelf. Since she passed away 6 years ago, the house had felt bigger, emptier. But that week my daughter Emily was visiting, and the place felt alive again. She was 28 years old, bright, independent, and stubborn in the most wonderful way. "Dad," she shouted from the kitchen. "Yes," I replied, standing on a chair beneath the smoke detector. "That thing has been beeping all morning. Either fix it or throw it out the window." I chuckled. "Relax, I'm fixing it now." The smoke detector had been chirping every 30 seconds, a weak battery warning. Simple job. At least that's what I thought. I twisted the plastic cover open and pulled the battery out. But as I reached inside, something unusual caught my eye. A tiny black circle tucked behind the wiring. At first I assumed it was just part of the detector's internal design. But when I leaned closer, my heart skipped a beat. It wasn't part of the smoke detector. It was a lens. A camera. My breath caught in my throat. For several seconds I just stared at it. The world around me seemed to fall silent. Who would put a camera inside my smoke detector? And more importantly, how long had it been there? My hands began to tremble slightly. From the kitchen, Emily called out again. "Dad, are you alive up there?" I hesitated. Part of me wanted to shout, "Emily, come here, you need to see this." But another thought stopped me cold. If someone had installed that camera, they might still be watching. Right now. So I slowly closed the detector, slipped the battery back in, and climbed down from the chair. "Everything okay?" Emily asked. I forced a smile. "Yeah," I said casually, "just a dead battery." She raised an eyebrow. "You took 5 minutes for a battery." "Well, I'm old," I said, "things take longer now." She laughed. But inside, my stomach felt like a knot tightening. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in my living room armchair staring up at the smoke detector. The tiny device hidden inside it. Somewhere someone might have been watching. Watching me walk around my house. Watching my daughter. Listening to our conversations. The thought made my skin crawl. At 64 years old, I had lived in that house for more than 3 decades. It had always been my safe place. But suddenly the walls felt different. Not protective. Just exposed. The next morning I began noticing things I had ignored before. Little details. The back door sometimes felt slightly loose when I locked it. There were faint scratches near the window latch. Small things that suddenly didn't feel random anymore. Had someone broken in? Had they walked through my home while I slept? I decided not to remove the camera. Not yet. If someone was watching, I wanted them to think everything was normal. So I went about my day as usual. Emily and I ate breakfast. We joked about my terrible cooking. We watched a movie that evening. But every few minutes my eyes drifted toward the ceiling. Toward the silent watcher. Later that night, Emily sat on the couch scrolling through her phone. "Dad," she said suddenly. "Yes." "Did you ever fix that loose stair step?" My heart skipped. "What step?" "The one near the top," she said. "It moves a little when you step on it." "I'll check it tomorrow." She shrugged. "Okay." If I had checked it that night, maybe things would have been different. Around 10 p.m., Emily headed upstairs to grab her jacket. "I'm meeting a friend," she called. "Don't stay out too late," I replied. "I'm 28, Dad." "Still counts." She laughed as she climbed the stairs. I went into the kitchen to rinse a glass. And then I heard it. A sudden slip. A loud thud. Then a scream. "Dad!" The glass fell from my hand. I ran to the staircase. Emily was lying halfway down the steps, gripping her leg. Her face was pale with pain. I slipped, she gasped, the step moved. My heart dropped. Don't move, I said, kneeling beside her. Her ankle was already swelling. I called an ambulance immediately. The entire ride to the hospital, my mind raced with guilt. I should have checked the step. I should have told her about the camera. I should have done something. Anything. Thankfully, the injury wasn't life-threatening. Just a fractured ankle. But sitting beside her hospital bed that night, something in my mind refused to rest. The camera. The loose stair. The strange marks on the door. The feeling of being watched. It didn't feel like coincidence anymore. It felt like someone had been inside my home. The next morning I returned to the house alone. The silence felt heavy. Almost suffocating. I grabbed a ladder and climbed up to the smoke detector again. This time I removed the tiny device completely. It was smaller than a coin. Black. Cold. And when I turned it over, a small red light blinked softly. Still active. Whoever installed it had been watching us in real time. Anger burned in my chest. Not fear. Not anymore. Anger. I took the device straight to the police station. The officer studied it carefully. Hidden camera, he said. That illegal, I asked. Very. They sent it to a forensic lab. 2 days later, I received a call. The signal from the camera had been transmitting to a receiver very close by. Only a few houses away. My neighbor. His name was Carl. A quiet man in his early 40s who had moved into the neighborhood about a year earlier. Always polite. Always friendly. But suddenly memories started connecting like puzzle pieces. The time he offered to help fix my roof. The afternoon I caught him walking around my backyard fence. The way his eyes lingered a little too long when Emily visited. My stomach turned. The police obtained a warrant and searched his house. What they found made my blood run cold. In Carl's basement was a wall of monitors. Screens showing video feeds from different homes. Mine included. But that wasn't the worst part. On a table beside the monitors were tools. Screwdrivers. Smoke detectors. Tiny cameras. And a folder full of photos of my house. He had been studying us. Planning. Watching. The police arrested him that night. The investigation revealed the truth. 3 months earlier, during a storm, Carl had offered to help check my gutters. While I was outside examining the roof, he slipped into my house for less than 2 minutes. 2 minutes was all he needed. 2 minutes to plant the camera. 2 minutes to violate our privacy. 2 minutes to turn our home into a stage for his twisted curiosity. Emily returned home from the hospital a week later. Her ankle was wrapped in a cast. When I finally told her everything, her face turned pale. He was watching us, she whispered. I nodded. Her eyes filled with tears. I feel sick. I did too. But what hurt the most was the guilt. If I had told you when I found the camera, I said quietly, maybe you wouldn't have fallen. Emily reached out and squeezed my hand. Dad, you were trying to protect me. Her words eased a weight I had been carrying since that night. A month later, Carl was sentenced to prison. The police discovered cameras in 5 homes across the neighborhood. 5 families who had been unknowingly watched. The news shocked everyone. Neighbors began checking vents, clocks, smoke detectors, anything that could hide a camera. But something unexpected happened. Instead of fear dividing us, it brought us together. People began watching out for one another, helping each other, sharing security tips. The neighborhood became stronger. One evening, Emily and I sat on the porch watching the sunset. The sky glowed orange and purple across the quiet street. Dad, she said. Yes. Do you regret staying quiet when you found the camera? I thought about it carefully. A little, I admitted. But sometimes when you're trying to protect someone, you don't always make the perfect decision. She smiled softly. You protected me my whole life, one mistake doesn't change that. At 64 years old, hearing that from my daughter meant more than anything else in the world. But that experience taught me something important. Something I want everyone to remember. Because danger doesn't always come crashing through your door. Sometimes it hides quietly. Sometimes it watches without making a sound. Sometimes it sits silently in the corner of your home. Inside something as ordinary as a smoke detector. Moral of the story: trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, never ignore it. Silence can sometimes protect you, but speaking up at the right moment can protect the people you love even more.